Number 1.
A woman who pleaded guilty to killing 6 of her unborn babies and storing their bodies in her garage has been sentenced to up to life in prison. A judge handed down the maximum sentence to a 40-year-old Megan Huntsman. She told police that she gave birth to the babies over a 10-year period from 1996 to 2006 and strangled or suffocated each child immediately after birth. She wrapped their bodies in cloth, put them in plastic bags, and packed them in boxes, then left them behind when she moved out of the house. A 7th infant found in the garage was stillborn.
Number 2.
A woman who videotaped herself performing sex acts on her 10-month-old son offered no explanation for her actions as she pleaded guilty to rape. 25-year-old Ashley Jessup was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. Jessup sent the videos to her boyfriend in Battle Creek, where his ex-girlfriend discovered them on his computer, and contacted police on August 31st, 2011. The videos depicted Jessup performing oral sex on the baby and placing his hand on her genitals.
Number 3.
Susan Smith is an American convict who was sentenced to life in prison for filicide. She was convicted of the drowning deaths of her 2 sons, 3-year-old Michael Daniel Smith and 14-month-old Alexander Tyler Smith.
Number 4.
Arnold, who had been convicted of abduction in 2000 and forgery in 2002, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on September 8, 2008 for killing her 28-day-old daughter, Paris. The infant was placed in a microwave oven for what analysts suspect was longer than 2 minutes and died shortly thereafter. Death occurred because her internal temperature became critical. In the words of a medical examiner, she was cooked. Prosecutors said that she placed Paris into the microwave after an argument with Tally over the baby's paternity. She told investigators that she was intoxicated. Arnold took Paris to the hospital the next day, where she died of her injuries.
Number 5.
Julian Ems had been jailed for 3 years after being found guilty of embezzling 16,000 euros from a charity set up to pay for his dying son's motor neuron disease treatment. Julian Ems had initially set up the charity to fund a trip to China where his son, who was Britain's youngest victim of motor neuron disease, underwent stem cell treatment. Friends and family carried out sponsored events, and at its peak, the fund reached 55,000 euros. The jury was told that by the time of Michael's death in April 2011, there wasn't enough money left to pay for the 24-year-old's funeral.
Number 6.
Delina Nicholas is a 36-year-old who faces a minimum of 15 years in prison and a maximum of 30 for selling her daughter for sex to fuel her drug habit. Police found out about the abuse in March 2012 after a homeless man signaled a passing police officer and told him the girl was being molested in a 6th Street South home. The man said he'd been to the home to use drugs in the past and had seen several different men having sex with the girl.
Number 7.
The Fritzl case emerged in April 2008 when a woman named Elizabeth Fritzl told police that she had been held captive for 24 years behind 8 locked doors in a concealed corridor part of the basement area of the large family house by her father, Joseph Fritzl, and that Fritzl had physically assaulted, sexually abused, and raped her numerous times during her imprisonment. The abuse by her father resulted in the birth of 7 children, 4 of whom joined their mother in captivity, one dying just days after birth. while the other 3 were raised by Fritzl and his wife, Rosemary, having been reported as foundlings.